And now we are joined by RPSG founder and chairman, Mr. Sanjeev Goenka. Mr. Goenka, welcome to NDTV on this rather momentous day, I must say. In his third term, Mr. Modi presents his first budget, or rather his finance minister presents the first budget. Your initial thoughts, Mr. Goenka, on the first budget of Modi 3.0?
It's a budget which is full of thought, driven by gravitas, and which lays the foundation for the Viksit Bharat plan that Modi ji had for 2047.
Why do you call it full of thought, Mr. Goenka? What's the rationale behind that?
Look at the planning that's gone behind it. It's about investment in agriculture, it's about investment in employment, it's investment in infrastructure, it's investment in skilling. It's about growth of the eastern part of the country, which is relatively less developed. It is about, the finance minister talked about making a comprehensive economic roadmap and economic policy for reform based on labor, land and capital. It's focusing on the Nari, it's focusing on the youth.
Mr. Goenka, you bring me to a very interesting point.
So what more do you expect in terms of thought?
Mr. Goenka, you bring me to a very interesting point. You said, about the development of the eastern region of this country, and this is a point that the Home Minister of the country, Mr. Amit Shah, Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, have stressed upon multiple times, not only during the election speeches, but generally also. They have said that unless the eastern bloc of this country develops, the nation cannot make full optimum progress, matching the steps of all the regions. What do you think is one salient scheme? Of course, there are special schemes for Bihar, but one salient scheme, since you had such a large business in the eastern part of the country, you are one of the biggest business magnates from the eastern part of the country. What do you think is the one salient feature, Mr. Goenka, of this budget, which makes you think that it will certainly propel growth there?
I think it's a series of schemes rather than just one specific announcement. It's a whole heap of things. And I also look at what the finance minister has presented from a country's development perspective. She's talked of religious tourism. I mean, if you see that can be a huge contributor to the state's and the country's economy.
Mr. Goenka, you also have a large consumer exposure in your business. You have a large FMCG retail exposure in your businesses. Now, there is something that is obviously going to excite a lot of people, that is the younger generation, a huge duty cut in the mobile phones, etc. Other than that, what do you think in this budget? In this budget, there is that particular point which will excite the retail consumer market, because remember, we have been talking about tepid private investments and tepid market sentiment when it comes to retail offtake, particularly in certain rural segments of the economy.
I think this whole thing about skilling the youth and providing internships to 1 crore plus youth. So it gives them opportunities, it gives them income, it gives them money to spend on their hands.
So, Mr. Goenka, tell me something. Internship schemes have been tried in the past too. This time the scale is bigger. Do you think that this scheme can realistically answer the job crisis that this country, many say, have been facing? Modi government obviously has been saying that they have been dealing with that challenge upfront. But do you think this scheme has the potential in it to deal with that crisis in a cogent manner?
Absolutely. This is a beginning and this is not the end. So this is a start, and there will be, I presume, more of the same to follow.
So you say that this is a beginning, nonetheless a good, major, important beginning. And your closing remarks, Mr. Goenka, thank you very much for your time.
From the skilling perspective.
From the skilling perspective, right.
My closing remarks are very simple. Yeah.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir. Please go ahead.
I'm optimistic. I'm optimistic about the Indian economy, and I'm going to invest heavily in India and the Indian economy.